Method of successive approximation. Method of successive approximation is also called iteration method. Suppose we want the real roots of the equation f of x equals to 0. Write this equation number 1 in the form x equals phi of x. Separate one value of x from that equation and the remaining equation will be named as phi of x. Let x naught be an initial approximation to equation 2. Put x equals to x naught in the right hand side of equation 2. We will get x1 equals phi of x naught. Continuing in this way, x2 will be equals to phi of x1. And when we get the value of x2, we will use this value of x2 in place of this x again. So x3 will be equals to phi of x2 up to xn equals phi of xn minus 1. In this way, we will get a sequence of approximate roots. If it converges to alpha, if we get some root that is repeated up to some decimal places, then that value will be the root of the equation f of x equals to 0. Consider an example. I want to find out the root of this equation up to 5 decimal places. I want the accuracy of the root up to 5 decimal places. For that purpose, I must fix my calculator accurate that gives the value accurate up to 5 decimal places. For that purpose, just press shift and then this mode. The point 6 is giving the function fix. So I will click 6 from here. I will get the options up to how many decimal places I want to fix my calculator. I want to fix up to 5 decimal places. So I will click 5 from here. So my calculator is now fixed up to 5 decimal places. X cube plus x square minus 1 is basically f of x. Now I want to find out an interval on which this function f of x is showing different behavior. I checked for 0 and 1. Put 0 in the function shows the negative behavior, and when I used value of x equals to 1, the function showed the positive behavior. This means my root lies between 0 and 1. So the interval will be from 0 to 1. Now for finding phi of x, consider this f of x equals to 0. I took x square common from the first two values. My equation reduced to x square into x plus 1 minus 1. Move this minus 1 on the right side. The equation took the form x square into x plus 1 equals to 1. So x square equals to 1 over x plus 1, and for removing this square, I will apply square root on both sides. So I got x equals to 1 over x plus 1, that is equals to phi of x. Now my phi of x equals 1 over under root x plus 1. Since the first value, that is x1, can be obtained by phi of x naught. Now question arises here that what is this x naught? I will consider this x naught from my interval that I took earlier. My interval is from 0 to 1. So I will consider any value from this interval that will be equals to x naught. For example, I considered here x naught equals to 0.5. This 0.5 is basically from 0 to 1, the value between 0 and 1. x1 equals phi of x naught. My phi of x was 1 over under root x plus 1. So in place of x, I will get x naught. Put the value of x naught I consider 0.5. So use the value of x naught over here and simplify it using your calculator. You will get the answer of x1 up to 5 decimal places that I fixed earlier on my calculator. Then calculate x2, that is equals to phi of x1. I will use in place of x the value of x1 that I calculated here. This is the value of x1. Put this value in this equation and I will get the value for x2. I will continue my process until my root is repeated up to 5 decimal places. Now solve it for phi of x2. I got 0.75. See, up to 1 decimal places my answer is repeated. 0.7, 0.7. Now find the value for x4, that is phi of x3. I got 0.75. Up to 2 decimal places this answer is repeated. I will continue this process until my answer is repeated up to 5 decimal places. Now x5 equals phi of x4. Use the value of x4 in place of this equation and I got 0.5501. Then x6 phi of x5. Use the value of x5. I got 0.75485. Then x7 phi of x6 is 0.75488. See, my answer is repeated up to 4 decimal places. Now again I repeat, I get the another iteration so that my answer should repeat up to 5 decimal places. Now x8 phi of x7, use the value of x7, I got the value for x8, that is 0.75488. Now see, my value is repeated. So I got the root of the equation, that is basically x8 equals 0.75488. So root of the given equation will be this value for x8. For more methods, just subscribe the channel so you can get the updates timely. Thank you.